Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome again to another video. And on this video, we are going to be talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Nothing specific to the release or the version, be it 2020 or 2024, as they call it now, but in general. And starting off with the massive disappointment of release of the latest version of the simulator. I believe that happened on November 19, if I'm not mistaken. And this simulator was released to everyone, pretty much everyone on the computer, PC community, Xbox community, not just people that have purchased the game. And again, I'm not calling this a simulator because honestly speaking, at the point this is right now, it is clearly what the goal is of Microsoft in a sub. It's just technically speaking a game already. So they released it for PC community, for Xbox community, and also for Xbox Game Pass users on the same day at the same time, and it was a complete disaster. It was a complete disaster. A lot of people that bought the game with their hard-earned money, maybe they pay for the standard, which is in Europe 80 euros, I believe like 70 euros in the US, and up to 200 if you purchase the Aviator or Aviation edition or whatever they call it. Just imagine paying that much money and not be able to even load the game. What went on their mind when they decided to release this thing at the same time across the board? Or maybe were they not planning properly that a lot of people, especially from the Xbox gaming community, were going to be jumping on board and trying to play the game at the same time than let's say the PC community users, if you will. If you remember when the simulator was released in 2020, it was only released for the PC community, and still it was a little shady type of release, if you will, but it was not as a disappointment or disaster as the 2024 was a couple days ago. Why? Because now everybody was actually trying to access the simulator, the game at the same time. Anyway, I'm not sure if you've been paying attention to the footages that I've been showing you. Maybe you might be thinking this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Nope, it's not. And even more so, this is not even Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 that you know of recently. This is actually the first edition of the simulator released back in 2020. These are some of my old videos that I started releasing back in 2020, like about September, like a month after it was released. And you can tell by looking at this, and there's no filters, no nothing, no shaders at the moment on what you're looking at. This is how the simulator, when it was first released in 2020, looked. And I can assure you that this looked even better than Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. The lighting, the clouds, the color of the clouds, everything in general, including the terrain level of detail, looks way better than what the latest version of 2020 looked like, and also what the 2024 looks like. Now you can argue that in 2024 you have 3D trees and you have some other textures on the ground or what have you, but still I think this looks better in general from a graphical standpoint, excluding updates to the photogrammetry and those 3D trees. Now, why am I bringing this topic about the graphics? Because you see a lot of people, especially those big influencers on YouTube, just talking about, oh, 2024 has amazing graphics, and just doing apple and orange comparison between the last version of 2024 and the last version of 2020 and 2024 side by side. You shouldn't be comparing them. I'll like you, like if it's a true Microsoft Flight Simulator user, go back to 2020 footages that you may have or that you may be able to find, or maybe just try to get the first trailer that was released, like the release trailer for 2020 back in 2020, and do a comparison between the two, and tell me if 2024 edition of the simulator looks better in general. Now, from a graphical standpoint, they may be selling you, we have improved this or that. To me, no, you haven't improved anything. What you have done is fix some of the issues that you introduced from a graphical standpoint when you released SimOpti 5, I believe back in 2021 or 2022, when the simulator was released on Xbox. If you remember when SimOpti 5 released, everything was horrible. Like, performance was horrible on computer, the level of detail was horrible, the lighting was horrible, the clouds were horrible, everything looked washed out in SimOpti 5, comparing it to what the simulator looked like before SimOpti 5. So they fixed some of the stuff, but still it's just not possible for them to bring the same graphical quality that the simulator had before SimOpti 5 and make it runnable on Xbox. The problem here is the support for Xbox. The problem, at least for us PC users, if you will, not for Xbox users, because that's probably the only way for them to play the game pretty much. But for PC enthusiasts and users, the simulator was downgraded massively all across the board for them to make it runnable on the Xbox, especially the Xbox Series S, which was the smaller of the two. Now, from that point of view, I think we already know how they screwed up the graphics, and now they're trying to tune it a little bit and sell it to you like it's a brand new simulator. Clearly it's not. It's just basically the same simulator. 2024, it's just 2020, the last version of 2020, I should say, but with a few things included and features included that they promise you were coming in 2020 and never did. Like, for example, the seasons that we now have in 2024 was one of the features they had on the roadmap for Microsoft 2020, and they never introduced it. They were actually working on it, and I guess at some point it was just too many features that they needed to introduce and too many bugs they needed to fix for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 that someone, I guess with the money symbol on their eyes, just came up with the idea of just sell it as a brand new simulator. So there's a lot of features in 2024, but none of those features are aimed for the hardcore simulator users. This career was one of the features that people mainly in the Xbox community were asking for, because they didn't have a lot to do. They didn't have IVAO, they didn't have vaccine, they didn't have anything to be able to, I guess, make it as immersive as possible. So they needed stuff to be included in the game pretty much. So they came up with this career stuff, which is a complete arcade game. If you look at it, you will see all the stuff that they have done. This is not a simulator career mode. This is an arcade. So far, I have not seen absolutely anything that's gonna make me buy this simulator. If I do showcase it on my channel, it'll probably be maybe I'll buy like a month of Game Pass just to test the VR, which again, in the VR space, zero, no improvement whatsoever. Why? Because Xbox users will never make use of VR. It's not a feature they can sell to Xbox users to attract them to the game. So clearly, this is the reason why they didn't do anything in the VR space. No improvement. The same exact implementation of VR is what we have right now. There's absolutely no improvement, at least significant improvement that I can tell. Right, guys, so that's what I had to say about the simulator. I honestly do not recommend anybody that hasn't pulled the trigger to buy 2024. If you have 2020, that's more than enough for you. You have a lot of add-ons, a lot of payware airplanes, which you freaking have on your computer. You don't have to be streaming airplanes from the cloud. So just stick with 2020 and let's see how 2024 progresses, and let's see if they are going to let us, or people that have purchased the game, download the freaking thing into our computers instead of streaming 70 or 80% of the content from the cloud. So again, just stay on the fence. Don't buy it. I don't recommend it. Just stick with 2020 and let's see how things go with 2024. All right, guys, let me know your comment. Let me know what you think about this whole disaster of Microsoft Flights in 2024 in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.